Today we're joined by Dr. Arden from the Mayo Clinic, and the topic is COVID-19 and what we can do as parents. Welcome back to River City Live, Dr. Arden. Times are a little bit different. Last time you were in the studio, and now we're on Zoom. And actually, this is great because we're going to tap into your expertise as a physician, but also as a mom. You have 3 children, so we're all in this together going through the same things.
Yes.
The first question that I want to talk to you about is, how do you recommend that we explain what's going on to our children? Because there's a lot of information out there, and it's a scary time we live.
No, my recommendation is keep in mind the type of child that you have and, of course, the age of your children. You know, my children are all young. My oldest is 6.5, so she has some idea of this, germ that's making us stay at home and that they were washing their hands a lot more at school. And so we've kind of, had those more factual conversations with her and addressed any, fears or concerns that she's had. Obviously, my younger children don't quite understand what's going on. We're just doing a lot more hand washing at home. But for your older children who probably do see a lot of this on their Facebook pages and social media and watching the news, I think it's about having those honest conversations so that they get the right information from people that they feel most comforted by, their family and their parents.
And then what about social media in general? I feel like a lot of our kids, no matter what the age is, they're on their device. And there's a lot of information that's out there. Some of it's great and some of it's not credible. What do you recommend on that?
We're in a challenging time now. We're at home, so we are kind of leaning towards technology and screens a little bit more than we had to before. And I think that's okay for the time being, but we want to be mindful about what those sources of social media and news and internet use that our kids are being exposed to. So I think it's about keeping even a closer eye on those resources that your children are using. If they're on Facebook a lot and they're seeing a lot of those posts that may or may not be factual, making sure that we're keeping an eye on that. Maybe limiting how much news we're watching at home for our own selves as adults, right? Because we want to make sure that they're not hearing too much about this that's going to make them feel more anxious or fearful. And again, kind of giving ourselves some grace for maybe a little bit more, movie nights for the families and some more cartoons for the little ones, but, balancing that out with, of course, what they're seeing revolving coronavirus.
And that was my next question. Are there anything that you recommend to get the family together and really take our mind off of what's happening right now?
This is a great opportunity. I'm always a person who looks at the silver lining or half glass full kind of person. I think personally, and my patients know that about me. Here's a time to even set aside some of that technology, right? Where we're eating at home more, so let's have a meal together. Let's talk more together. Let's maybe eat outside on our porch so we're getting some sunlight and some fresh air and getting out of the house a little bit. I mean, that's a safe activity you can do with your family. Going on some type of exercise outside where, of course, you're still following the guidelines with social distancing. Going to a big playground with a bunch of people is not the right thing to do, but you can go on a walk in your neighborhood and stay within your family unit and just make sure you're distancing yourselves from other folks. And that's a healthy and a great way to spend some time together as a family.
And my last question for you, it's a very important one. Right now, parents, they're scared to take their child into a doctor because it's recommended, unless it's an emergency, stay away. What are some things that we are looking for? And I'm not necessarily talking about COVID-19, really any signs or symptoms where it is time now to see a physician.
Yeah, there's something about that gut feeling as a parent. So if you just are worried about your child, they're not acting like themselves, they're not hydrating, they're having a lot of nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, belly pain, those things that we always kind of worry about as pediatricians and family medicine providers. That's still a reason to try and seek care. But I think there are a couple ways that we can do that a bit more safely, both from the physician side as well as the patient side. So many places are offering this method of seeing patients, virtually with a video visit or a phone call to kind of triage those symptoms and give you some guidance or maybe say, I think it is time to come in. There are more opportunities within our clinics to try and see just our kids when we need to or just sick visits when we need to and space that out a little bit so we're keeping everybody safe. But we certainly don't want a parent or a family member to delay care for a child because they're worried about coronavirus. We want to give you some guidance about that and see those kids if we really need to.
Dr. Arden, thank you so much for all of your time and information. We know right now you are so busy being a mother, but also a physician. We appreciate all your time and your information.
Yes, thank you.